Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the broadcast. My name is One Charming Man, as always, here to represent the monarchy and talk a little bit about music. And today we're going to be talking about the album Die Lit by Playboi Carti. Let's get into it. Okay, so, first things first is this has got to be this is his second project, Playboi Carti. For those of you who are not familiar completely with Playboi Carti, he made his fame more or less when he did the whole Millie Rock thing. Excuse me, dropped my phone. He made his mark when he made the whole Millie Rock single. He worked with ASAP Rocky. As far as I know, he's a part of the very mysterious AWGE, which I still don't know what it stands for or what the hell it is, except for I know it's a hip hop collective. I'm sure there's people in the know that know what's up, but I'm not there yet. So basically, he announced this album on May 10th. For the most part, when it comes to production, as far as I know, it's mainly Pierre. As far as I know, Pierre Bourne is appears on 14 of the 19 songs on the album, with the rest being, what I assume is a mixed slash matched group of producers and whatnot. First things first is that I gotta give Playboi Carti, he knows how to put together a like a collective of people to like work with. I'm not sure how much of this is his work, how much of it is his doing. I'm not sure it's exactly what he how much he did put into like putting together these people, but I do know that it does comes together like a really cohesive piece of music, and that's something that I have to give it a lot of credit for. Um, the first track is Long Time, parentheses intro. Now, I accidentally listened to the album backwards at first, so I had to restart it to get like the full thing. And let me tell you right now, Long Time intro was a pretty good way to start the album. It was a very strong start. I feel like the first three tracks, actually four, no, I'm sorry, five, are really strong. The first five are very, very strong. It goes Long Time intro, then to R.I.P., then to Lean for Real featuring Skepta, which I'll get into. Then it's Old Money, and then it's Love Hurts featuring Travis Scott. Now, so for me, the biggest thing was that this sounded like Playboi Carti, and I don't mean that in a good way. I don't mean it in a bad way. It sounded like Playboi Carti. Like it sounded like Playboi Carti. Like, he has a very unique, distinctive kind of mumble rap sound. Um, it's such a high pitched kind of like synthesized backgrounds with like these like and it's like I think that it's a very acquired taste. I think it would be very easy for someone who listens to boom bap or old school golden age hip hop to listen to this and just be like, no, I can't do this. This is way too new. Me, on the other hand, I can kind of see where people are enjoying it. I can see the moments where it's like, okay, like the litness here is very legitimate. But when it comes down to it, I feel like the music itself is kind of like it stays at this plateau because it's like the album starts and the beat just drops, and there really is no like how do you say, oh, it's lagging, there is no how there's no build. It's just like it's hot, it starts, it's hot, and then it's hot, and then it's hot, and then that's it. There's only one track on the whole album that I think kind of slows the pace down a little bit, but even that song, it didn't do much when it comes to slowing down. It was just slightly less misogynistic than the other ones. But I'll get into that right now. R.I.P. is a pretty decent track. I don't really have much to say on that with the notes wise. It was like your standard Playboy Cardi song, and I mean that in a good way. It was like it was like hook, kind of catchy, cool, decent track. But the real one that I want to talk about really badly is definitely uh, Lean for Real featuring Skepta. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am a huge Skepta fan. I think that he's the one of the best rappers like alive. I really think that he's so underrated. Like, I don't think we take for granted just how good Skepta is, and it's just because he's like British. A lot of people here in America won't give him like the legitimacy that he deserves. I think that's totally biased, and I think that's kind of fucking discriminatory, to be honest with you. Because like I think Skepta is just like at his prime, at his peak. I think that he fucking struggled for so long, and he freaking like he worked so hard to get to where he's at, and like I think he deserves every little bit of recognition he can possibly get. So props to Skepta. You can definitely hear I don't think that I didn't see the producing credits on this album. I will give it a check, maybe annotate some stuff if annotations are still a thing on YouTube. But I will say that the beat felt like it was a little messed up. Not messed up, but not messed up. I'm sorry. It was like upgraded by Skepta. Like it sounded like a Playboi Carti beat with like some Skepta editing, and that was awesome because I'm a huge fan of Skepta's of his beats, the way he makes his music. I think he's a really good producer. He's just as good at producing than he is at rapping, and he is a fantastic rapper. So overall, it was solid. That song was really, really good. I'm not really sure what the hell is Skepta's deal though, because maybe I'm not listening enough, ironically, but I don't know what his position is on Lean because I thought that that was supposed to be his thing he makes fun of people for. Especially with Water that just dropped. It's like, people sleeping on me while they sipping on the lean. And it's like, I thought that was supposed to be his, like, man, a man doesn't mess with lean. I thought that was, like, his shtick, almost. But here, he's kind of, like, supporting it, in a way. Like, I think, like, or unless it's, like, Playboi Carti's like, y'all drinking lean. And then he's like, yeah, he's drinking lean. That's, like, the only thing I can kind of guess. Like, I don't know what the hell is that about. Otherwise, great song. Moving on, it's Old Money after this. Now, Old Money is my favorite track on this, and I gotta say, I thought it was gonna be the Skepta song because I'm just like a huge Skepta fan, but it was actually Old Money. Now, I just heard the album once, mind you, so I don't really have everything exactly dead remembered in my head. But Old Money was just like the one that stuck out to me as a complete song. I felt like it was very like sometimes when I hear Playboi Carti's choruses throughout this album, I'll feel like they're premature and they're just there to kind of not fill up the space, but it just seems so formulaic. And that was kind of like a problem for me listening to this album. Old Money was like a good middle ground between those two, though, because of the fact that it just sounded so well produced. At least that's how I remember it. I'll have to listen to it again. The next track is Love Hurts. Now, this is where I think the album starts to drop off. And I don't mean that this song is where it starts. I mean, like, pretty much after this song. Like, as soon as this song ends, it's just like this album goes in a completely different direction, in my opinion. And I'll get to that right now. Travis Scott makes an appearance on this, and someone else is on there. I think Young Thug or something. Like, someone's uncredited on there. I'm fairly certain. If not, then apologies. But I was, I was listening to the song, and I was like, wait, this is the one with Travis Scott, right? Isn't this kind of like a big deal? Because it's Travis Scott. I mean, once you say Travis Scott, it's a big deal. That's how I feel. I mean, it's like he's just such a big name right now. So I listened to this track, and for the most part, it was okay. I thought Travis Scott was kind of wasted. I mean, I always feel like Travis Scott is not used correctly when I don't hear the rodeo flow. That's just me though. That's where I like him. That's where I like him the most. That's where I prefer him. But I definitely did like the vocals that he put onto this album. It really added like another layer to it because it was like, oh, okay, now we've got like another feel to this cavalcade of like getting turned and turned imagery, lit imagery, if you will. It was okay. Now, Shoota is the next song, and this one's featuring Lil Uzi Vert. It's not a good song, man. I'm sorry. It wasn't a good song. It wasn't a good song, and the album starts to really fall off. I wasn't feeling this song. I thought it was pretty generic. That's like the one word I can use for it. But I'm not saying it was like a bad generic. It just didn't sound like it was a unique like trap song. That's kind of what I expect out of Playboi Carti. It's like a twist on your standard trap. It's like that's what I expect. This didn't feel like a twist. It just felt like trap, and like that's nice. That's nice, but it came off as kind of generic, and I'm just being honest. That's just how I felt. But it was good. It was I mean, the album. I mean, the song itself. I didn't think the song was that good. But as far as I know, Lil Uzi and Playboi Carti, they're very good friends. So I'm glad that they had fun making this song, and I wish it would have sounded a little bit better. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Lil Uzi. I'm sorry, Uzi. I'm sorry, Playboi, bruv. Like you guys. I love you guys, but I wasn't really feeling this track. Just saying. The next track is Right Now featuring Pierre, and yeah, he comes out for this one, kinda. I think this is one of those songs, if I remember correctly, where the beat stood out more than anything, rather than the track. I can't really remember this one. I didn't have many notes for this one. I think Right Now was actually a pretty good like intermission track because I felt something was gonna come. Poke It Out was it. Poke It Out was the song that was like next to come. Poke It Out was pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. It was like it was pretty cool. I will not lie. I thought he was saying poke it out, poke it out, poke it out. Like, I thought he was saying poke it out, polka dot. But he was saying poke it out, poke it out, and I was like, I could have sworn he said polka dot, polka dot. Like he's rocking polka dots or something. I don't know. You never know with these rappers these days. Oh god, guys, I'm gonna die. Hold on. This review will have to pause until I figure out what I'm gonna die or not. You prick! Let me kill you. You guys seen this? I'm gonna use all my resources on this dude. Alright, fine, fuck it. We'll do it live. I don't care. I use all my grenades. There he goes. What's wrong with this gun, dude? Has anybody seen this? Like, what's going on? Like, I thought I aimed pretty closely at him. Sorry for that little break, little intermission. Poke It Out featuring Nicki Minaj was definitely one of the highlights of the entire album. She was very strong in her lyricism. I thought that, when it comes to female MCs, Nicki Minaj is still untouchable in my opinion. I don't think anybody touches her in terms of impact, in terms of lyricism, in terms of popularity. I don't think anybody touches Nicki Minaj, except for maybe Lauryn Hill, but she's retired practically. So great showing from Nicki Minaj. I think Nicki Minaj gets a feature of the album. I'll go as far as to say that. And I love Skepta. Okay. But that beat was definitely the best beat though. What was it called? Lean for Real. And then the next, the thing is that this next one's called Home (parentheses KOD). I didn't know if that was gonna be like a diss or something, cause like we can't just KOD like right after, he dropped something. J. Cole dropped something called Get KOD. It's like what the hell is going on, man? Like I didn't know why. The song didn't really resonate with me outside of the name. The next one is Fell in Love featuring Bryson Tiller. I thought Bryson Tiller was almost out of place. This felt like that kind of song that was that like if you listen to like Kendrick Lamar and like U2 comes on, it's like like you kind of like it sounds decent, but at the same time it's like I don't know, man. I just feel like it's just so different, I don't know how much I would say like was like good. It was like okay. It was a decent track. I really feel like after Old Money, after Love Hurts, and despite Poke It Out, the songs leading up to Pull Up and Mileage are pretty like okay, like just decent. Like Foreign was alright. Like, there's nothing even to say about those. Pull Up was okay. Now, Mileage is a song I really want to talk about because I understand the notion that women are practically treated as objects in like fucking hip hop, and I'm not comfortable with that. I've never been comfortable with that. I'm still not comfortable with that, and I've tried everything to try and get people to like turn away from that kind of stuff. But the way Mileage is the song is about how Playboi Carti is not judging a female for having mileage on her lady parts. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, buddy. I like your sentiment a lot. Them girls gotta get some love too. Okay? Just because they're not good girls doesn't mean they're not worthy. My feeling. Regardless, I feel like this was definitely my favorite when it comes to like meaning. I don't know. It's like there's not many rappers that are like, I'll accept you no matter who you are, girl. And I doubt we will ever get a rapper like that for the most part, unless I become big. I don't know. And like more than anything, I think that like it's just nice, to like hear that kind of thing. But at the same time, it's like it feels out of place. Literally, there was another song. I don't know what song it was. Again, I listened to it one time. Pardon me. And the song says, "I left my girl at home, told her fuck herself." And I was like, okay, so like you go between being like a savage to like, being like this kind of nice dude. I mean, I like the broad, I guess you could say characterization of yourself, and and not being afraid to show that like other side. I do appreciate that a lot. I really do. But at the same time, as much as I like mileage, the feature of Chief Keef was just so out of place, man. And I can tell what they were going for. Almost. Almost. I really don't think that Chief Keef is good when he does features like this. I prefer him in features where he's like Mac Miller on Cut the Check, where he's like, undefeated. Undefeated. I really prefer that than this like weird singing kind of rapping thing he does here. I still like Chief Keef. I just thought his part on here was kind of weak. I just thought he was gonna rap. I thought he was gonna be like, girl, I don't need to worry about nothing. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be something like more flowy. That's what I would have wanted. But props to him. Doing his thing. Yeah. Let's see the next one. God, this lag, dude. Anyways, next track. Flatbed Freestyle. I really enjoyed Flatbread Zombies. I really heavily enjoyed. Oh wow, I'm having the worst lag. I really heavily enjoyed this track. I'm not really sure how much of a freestyle it is, but I thought it was a pretty good song. Like, I thought that he was flowing pretty well. I thought the song was flowing pretty well. Then the next track is, hold on, No Time featuring Gunna. Worst song on the whole album. Y'all don't know who this Gunna is? I'm sure he's a upcoming dude that's gonna make some waves, man. But this wasn't it. This sucked. This is a bad song, man. And I got nothing but love for the rap community, and I never like telling people that they suck, but this song was pretty bad. I felt there was nothing enjoyable about it. It wasn't like catchy annoying. It was just annoying. I just found it annoying, and I couldn't understand what they were saying. And I'm not one of those people that's like, huh? You can't understand what they're saying? I can't enjoy this. I'm not like that. I'm really not like that. You know what I mean? Like, I actually like Kanye West scatting. And if you guys have heard his unreleased stuff where he scats in place of his lyrics, I fuck with that as a regular song. Really. Like, I have no problem with that whatsoever. So, for me, it's like a little bit of like, it's like I just don't like the way it sounds here. I thought here it didn't sound pleasant. I can't hear what you're saying, and it sounds like shit. I'm sorry. This one was really bad. Middle of the Summer kind of breezed right over me, to be honest with you. I don't remember this song much. I feel kind of bad as a journalist, but that's the way this album kind of was, and I hate to say it, but it blends together. Like, a lot of the songs blend together, and that's like not a good thing, man. Like, I feel like, it is important to have like, your chill ass, like, to have a flow, to have everything coherent. I understand that and I respect that 100%. But here, man, like, I just felt like the album was just starting to like mesh together in a bad way. In like a bad way. And like I don't know how to explain it. It was like, just like, I wasn't fucking with the vision, man. I wasn't fucking with the vision at all. Oh. So, that's how I felt about that track. You know, I have my feelings, you can have yours. That's how I feel about the album at this point, especially. In this part of the album, I was starting to feel like exhausted. I was starting to feel like, wow, haven't I heard this song? Like, did I skip over one? Did I replay it? And like, I like Playboi Carti. I'm a Playboi Carti fan, if you will. I've been liking his stuff since he dropped Magnolia, and I didn't think that Woke Up Like This was all that good, but it was definitely it was definitely he's definitely a notable artist. You know what I mean? So like this album right here kind of frustrated me because I thought there was gonna be some growth, and there wasn't. That's why I'm really frustrated. Once I get to the Chapo Won't Miss, which is the 17 goddamn track, I'm thinking to myself, oh man, maybe by now he's gonna switch things up. Nope, still doesn't switch anything up, and I'm just like, what the heck, man? Why not? Why is everything sounding the same? This is not cool. This is not hip. Although Young Thug, I did like his appearance on this album, on this song in particular. I thought it was very, very catchy, very catchy. You know, I'm not a big Young Thug supporter, I'm not a big Jeffrey guy, but I definitely like this. I like this. It's a good step up for him. Then we get R.I.P. Fredo, parentheses, notice me. Now, R.I.P. Fredo was like an okay song, and Top was a really good way to end the album. I mean, overall, the album ends pretty, like, you know, how it began almost, you know? That's, like, pretty much it. Like, R.I.P. Fredo and Top, they kind of mesh together. Like I said, like, a lot of the album meshes together. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I'm not really a fan of the way this is meshing, because it's just, I don't know, it's starting to just sound like, you know, like the same thing over and over again, and that's never okay. That is just about all of Playboi Carti's album. It is his first album, so they say. Although, I'll tell you what, right now, that album of his, or mixtape, Playboi Carti, the self-titled, it didn't sound like no goddamn mixtape, bruv. It sounded like an album. Okay? I don't understand what the hell's the difference anymore, okay? Because, like, if you're, like, is it commercial? Like, I don't even know anymore what these things are supposed to be called. Anyway, I'm getting past the point. Die Lit by Playboi Carti is a very interesting sophomore attempt at making an album. I would say sophomore attempt because, I mean, let's be real. Playboi Carti self-titled was pretty, you know, it wasn't produced by no scrubs, you know what I mean? You know, I gotta say, the album itself was pretty okay. There was a lot of very strong parts in it, a lot of very, like, things that just washed right over me. But overall, I gotta give this album a 6. And I give it a 6 because I think I give Playboi Carti's first one a 7. And I think I'll give this one a 6 because as good as this was, as decent as this was, there was no progression from where he was. And that was the biggest disappointment in the entire album. Because I expected a lot more from Playboi Carti. I just didn't think that it was going to be, I don't want to say bland, because that just sounds like it's mean. I mean that, like, the album just kind of stays in one place, and it doesn't really move a lot from there. The most it moves is mileage. Because he goes from being like, you know, I don't give a shit, to like, girl, let me take care of you. You know, like, that was the only song where I felt an actual change in motive, an actual change in pace. And that was the only song. And that doesn't happen until, like, what, track 13 of a 17-track, 1-hour album? Damn, man, like, that's not a lot, you know? Like, that's not a lot at all, man. Like, honestly, I'm just, like, wishing he had more variety. That's it. That's it. That's my main concern with this. It's just that, like, I like Playboi Carti. I just have to see more progression from him in order for me to, like, you know, like him right now, I think. That's my gripe with Playboi Carti. Is that he needs to do more. And I mean that from a very positive standpoint. Like, he's capable of doing so much, yet he limits himself to, like, these like pretty standard trap sounds. And I think that just a man of his talent has just so much to offer, and he's not putting himself out there enough. Of course, he's doing his thing. I'm glad that he's being like, I'm glad he's around. I'm glad that he's here. I'm glad that he's part of AWGE. But I have to give this album a 6 because, you know, outside of its brevity and time, it's just a 5. But because it's now, it's here, it's lit, I give it a 6, and I think it's a very good 6. And Magnolia and Woke Up Like This, those are songs that like once they hit, they fucking hit, man. They hit you. Okay? As soon as you hear the beats of Magnolia, it's like, okay, I can turn this. There was nothing like that here for the most part. Everything was like a okay. It wasn't like a let's get turned. It was like a oh, okay, this is lit. That was it. And like those are the words that I have to use to describe this album because that's how in depth it goes. There's just not much to the surface outside of the surface, or inside the surface rather. It's just there. It's just there. And like, you know, I like it. I like it. That's the thing. I like it. And I feel like I shouldn't like it because it's like, you didn't try that hard. At least that's the way I kind of like see it. Like you didn't try it that hard. But then again, who am I to say that? Like I said, a lot of the songs came across as if they were just like, all right, here's a chorus, now here's a verse, here's a hook. That's a song. That's how I felt with everything, and like, that's how I feel with like everything. With all this, I was just like, okay, we're just getting through the motions of a trap album. So, yeah, 6 out of 10. Last album was a 7. I'm looking forward to Playboi Carti's next work. I hope to see him on a bunch of features, perhaps. Let me know what you think about 6 out of 10. If you gave it more, if you gave it less, let me know in the comments down below. I always like to talk about hip hop. Add me / follow me at One Charming Man on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. My next review will probably be Royce da 5'9's new album. I'll see where I go from here. If you like my hip hop insights, you can leave me a like or whatever. If you don't dislike it, please. I like to know all the feedback. So, thank you for watching. This has been One Charming Man signing off. Thank you for watching the broadcast, and I will see you next time.